dedicated to community usage. That's what we care about, and continued growth and development of the community provision. We continue to seek reassurances, however, about the community provision on the site and how it will be safeguarded. These safeguards need to cover more than the square footage of the space, and its dedication to community provision is an important thing, but also how it will be retained in the long run, what future-proofing that there will be. So, for example, if there's economic difficulty, if there's operational difficulties, and for example, if there's homes right next to it, how will that interact with each other, and how will the safeguarding of it is continuous use as a community provision be continued? It's of course essential, what we're asking, and we know that currently there's a mix of community and commercial activities happening on the site, and the ongoing branding of the site as an enterprise hub and risks the mission drift on the site in the future. There are a few, as we all know, settler spaces in the borough, and the Granville is one of the very few ones that we have as a community space, and we want that to continue. The progress which has been made on the site over the last 2 years is a clear reflection and credit to the greater involvement of the wider group of community stakeholders. It seems clear that maintaining and even expanding this involvement of the community and stakeholders is essential to protect the building and the mission of it being a community provision. And we ask the scrutiny to recommend Cabinet to reconsider its decision regarding the community governance of the building, and to support and continue the community management, for example, as was set out in an email that was sent to all the members of this committee. I'm going to ask Councillor Keane to continue on that.
So in regards to the housing set out in the decision, we continue to have concerns about the impact of housing on the site, and how the site will retain its priority as a community site. We're unclear how these two provisions coexist. We're aware, we recognise, for example, that a number of years ago, the Granville site was restricted to having activities after 9 PM and was restricted from having a number of other activities because they were considered too noisy for neighbouring residents. And it became completely impossible to run so many forms of activities that it created an impression of underutilisation in the building, and a false impression of underutilisation. We're seriously concerned that there aren't sufficient safeguards in the proposals for housing which would be on the site, and how we would prevent this from happening in the future. And there is absolute demand and support for this community space in South Kilburn, and we wouldn't want to create the impression that there isn't. We're also concerned about the language in the decision, and that it doesn't guarantee the type of housing which the Cabinet is promising is going to be delivered on the site. For example, it says it prefers affordable housing. Affordable housing is not social housing, and it says that private housing may be necessary. This is totally unacceptable to us, it's totally unacceptable to the community, it's not what has been promoted as what the site is going to be delivering, and therefore we ask that scrutiny recommends that the Cabinet provides further safeguards for what type of housing, if any, has to be included on the site. We notice that all the pressure to deliver social housing in South Kilburn appears to be on this site. But we would point out that there are numerous other developments which are happening as part of the South Kilburn Master Plan, where we have been campaigning consistently for greater social housing provision. As our colleague Councillor Abdi noted in the call-in, there is a neighbouring, literally beside Granville, there is a development happening on Peel Precinct, in which we are delivering only 14% social housing. So whilst we commend a commitment to say that we want to have such high levels of social housing in theory, we feel that all of the onus to do that is being put on a site which is meant to be a priority community provision.
Just to say that obviously there's also several community spaces already in there. So there are people like All for Aid that are using it for community use. There are people like the kitchen and so on that have been using that space, and we haven't really thought about what other provisions, where are the other spaces that these good work can be happening in.
It sounds like a broken record, Chair. I mean, I think there are enough concerns here tonight, both in terms of number and the credibility of the stakeholders that have come here this evening, with a range of concerns, to say that, and given that there isn't a network speed and urgency for this paper to be passed, you know, it doesn't mean we throw it out completely. We're just asking Cabinet to go back, reconsider, reconvene with some of the stakeholders here, and come back with something that addresses these concerns. I think that, for me, that would be the preference.
I'm not minded to agree with the proposal of adopting option 4, yeah? I think there have been a number of issues which we've talked about tonight, which do require consideration. I do want to hear more about housing, and I'm just trying to work out from a scrutiny point of view about what we agree. Normally we just, please clarify, yeah? Normally I'm thinking as I sit as those two, yeah? Normally we would just sign off what Cabinet has done or refer back and expect there to be another whole cycle of work, yeah? I'm not looking for a whole cycle of work, but I do want some assurance it's really going to be reported to us if there's any deviation from what we have heard tonight, yeah? I also would like us, perhaps, I can't predict the programme, but for us to receive a report for scrutiny in, say, 3 months' time with an update about the housing arrangements and more details about community arrangements to which the community here are able to come here and be represented. And that would also include, I think, the point made about consultation with South Kilburn Community Trust.
I think, to clarify on one point on that, I think
we've had, I would be uncomfortable with the last paragraph of option 3, which is it should be recognized that viability will have to be worked through and some private housing may be required. However, the preference is for affordable units. So one is affordable units, we're talking about council housing. Secondly is we have had some degree of reassurance that it would be council housing, and there was no talk about private housing, so I have a difficulty with the last paragraph of option 3. And I would like to refer that back to the Cabinet for us to...
Yes, I think this goes to Cabinet. 4 points have to be very explicitly addressed. Those 23 social units need to be signed off. There needs to be legitimate safeguards against noise. There need to be clear guarantees to be minimal social purpose in the enterprise part of the hub. And I think most importantly, the oversight seeing body needs to be democratically accountable. Thank you.
I think given the representations we've heard here today, the amount of residents who have attended today, and the fact that I think, in my personal opinion, I don't think there's any harm in taking more time to consider this. So I think it should be referred back to Cabinet.
Whereas we've heard obviously a lot tonight, I'm fairly confident of the assurances supplied by the lead member and the concerns that were raised about the square meterage and the affordable social housing. So I'm actually fine with the original decision by Cabinet.
I take on board the concerns that are raised by the residents, but the assurances that's been given by the lead member, and also looking at the scheme itself, that we don't like changes, but this is an improvement. It provides better community facilities. It provides social housing. It also inbuilt in social and public order issues are addressed.
No, they haven't.
Taking all that into account, and also particularly the need for housing, I will be going for recommendations in our agenda papers 211, and that is to make no changes and approve the scheme estimates. Thank you.
Okay, so I hope we would come to consensus there, but there does seem to be a clear divide on that, so I think we will probably have to sort of vote exactly what we want to do. So it seems to me two options. I think, the first one is make no changes, just let the council proceed with it. From what I've heard from other people, correct me if I'm wrong, the second option would be that to send it back to Cabinet with some specifics on it, that it should only go ahead if viability is found in all 23 units of social housing. But should only go ahead if the concerns around noise are fully addressed. The point about the minimal social purpose, and also I accept what we heard from the Chief Executive earlier that the council cannot dictate exactly to a charity how it runs itself, but I do think pressure. So we could recommend that the council put pressure on the trust to embody a more democratic form. So
The suggestion was not actually around that whilst we welcome the idea of the council continuing to try and promote and influence increasing democratic representation within charities or organisations that we partner with, the request was not actually about increasing democracy in one particular organisation, in this case the South Dublin Trust. What the request was is that going forward, the community feels that the community provision on the site could be, and what Councillor Tatler has said has been explored for the last two meetings in the stakeholder group, is that that could be better provided by a management group which was broader in its representation and was not just one organisation, but was, for example, consisted of the current members of the stakeholder group, and as Leslie from the nursery school indicated, from what has been said for a long time and hasn't yet come into place, an expanded stakeholder group, and that was
thank you for that clarification. I think that is kind of the line I'm trying to go down, but you've explained it much better. Yeah, okay, so I think that's fine. So, yeah.
What I was making wasn't about the South Dublin Trust, just whatever body oversees this needs to be democratic accountability, whatever body.
Yeah, I think we've got to that place. So, as I said, I think the sort of four conditions which I've heard most frequently is that it's confirmed that all 23 will be social housing, that there's action on noise, that the enterprise space is used for social purpose, and that a broader management stakeholder group is involved in future planning in the area. So I think,
housing and bedroom ratio as regards to your first point concerning the 23.
So can you give me formal words on that? Well, I have that the scheme should only go ahead if it passes viability and is confirmed that all 23 units will be social. You could maybe also add something about your bedrooms into that.
And bedroom and with the predominance, difficult to dictate.
But all efforts are made to ensure that there is an appropriate. Yes. All efforts are made to ensure predominance of family homes. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah.
Could we also vote on an open air prison as well? Because that's what's going to happen. Knife crime and all these things.
I don't think that's fair to say. Anyway, so yeah.
I get that that's your set of recommendations to go back to Cabinet, and I know Councillor said you'd like a report back in 3 months. I do think there is there is a need really for us to get this done sooner than 3 months, because we are reliant on GLA funding for this scheme, and there would be a possibility of losing that. So could I suggest that any report back from Cabinet comes to you much quicker?
So I wasn't asking...
Much quicker than 3 months.
Sorry, Chair, I was not assuming this would be delayed for 3 months.
Okay,
what I was asking for was a report in 3 months, so we don't lose the initiative, given we've heard that there is a timeline which has got an opportunity for subsequent engagement and involvement, So we can be... we almost be second guessing.
I think the process would be that we would send the report back to Cabinet with those recommendations in it, and then ask you to sort of rewrite before passing it again. Whatever next Cabinet. So that's not a 3-month process. So but we will review it as we go along. That's where we're getting to. So it seems to me that the options we've come to, as a group this week, basically either don't make any changes at all, as some colleagues have expressed, or we send it back to Cabinet with these 4 points and ask them to rewrite the report on that basis before they proceed. So are people happy to coalesce around the second point of the consensus, or do we need to have a vote on this? So, I mean, I'll just say something. So basically, I think Councillor Thornton particularly said that basically they were happy with the report as it was. Other members have said that they're not fully happy with the report, and we decided the best way to summarise that was that we would send the report back to Cabinet to say it should only proceed if these 4 issues are addressed, and we would like them to put them into a new report that they before they pass anything else in Cabinet. Yeah. That's what we're saying, yeah. So formally, I think we want to approve it, exactly. So I think is everybody happy with that second option? What we have done, what should we just have those? Okay, I think we'll just have a vote to make it clear. So basically, 2 options is make no changes or send it back to Cabinet on the basis that the scheme only goes ahead if the passive viability of all 23 units are social homes. That full efforts are made to ensure that the 23 units are suitable for families with enough bedrooms. Efforts are made to resolve the noise problem. That will mean that events can continue in the evening, and that the enterprise space has a minimum of social value, and that a broader management group encompassing all the people, different groups who have an interest in the building, is brought together to oversee the future development of the site. So that is the recommendation. Can you? So I'm just asking people to, if they agree with that, if they and if they don't, basically. So just Councillor Cherry.
Agree, Chair.
Yeah, Councillor Nerva. Agree. Councillor Gouveia. Councillor Kejuma.
I agree with you, but I will prefer the second option.
We can have the second option. I agree with the first option, just to be clear. So I think that's definitely passed. So that's the actual thing from the meeting. Is that clear enough for the minute takers?